Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. I am Rachel Savage, Superintendent of Schools. We just are so excited to have everybody back and excited to get the school year started. So thank you for joining us here today. We want to give a special shout out to many of our new staff that have joined the Moline-Cove Valley School District family this year. We have many new administrators. We have current employees that have transitioned into a new leadership role this year, and a fantastic group of new teachers and new support staff. So welcome everybody. We are so excited to have you here with us moving forward. As always, we want to give a special shout out to some important groups of employees. We especially want to recognize our custodians, our maintenance staff, our ed tech department, and our food service department. These folks are amazing all year round, but they really shine in the summer. And quite frankly, really beginning since last March, these individuals have been just trusted partners to us as we navigate this interesting time in our lives. So thank you for your service and your dedication. We appreciate you all so much. I did want to give one sort of final shout out to our retirees from last year. We're so sorry and sad that we didn't get to give them a proper collective send off. But they are in our hearts, and we hope that we will see our retirees in our community and that they're not strangers to the Moline-Cove Valley School District. And also, what a pleasure it was to give a proper send-off to members of the class of 2020. The many small little graduation ceremonies that we were able to have was, quite frankly, a career highlight. After everything that those students had been through, to see them walk across the stage in small groups was truly an honor, and we're just proud of those students and what they will continue to accomplish in their lives. As we move forward into the school year, we have our plans in place, and we spent a lot of time really working on trying to make the best out of a situation that's just not great. So I just want you to know that the decisions that we made were just our best effort to put our first foot forward in opening our doors in a safe and controlled way. I firmly believe that there are no right answers here and no great options. And so I recognize and acknowledge what we are not able to do for kids at this time. And quite frankly, it breaks my heart. But we made a big investment in stakeholder input and really relied on that information via survey, via virtual parent meetings and any face-to-face meetings we were able to have to collect that input and use that information, staff surveys as well, to put forth the best plan possible. Again, the decisions that were made were purely based on health and safety of our staff and students, really over everything else. And to match that, we made an equal big investment in resources and supplies and just protective equipment to make sure that folks feel safe and that we've got what we need to be able to work with kids this school year. Quite frankly, our plans could change at any moment. I've accepted that and I'm prepared to recognize that, and I'm asking the same for you. We'll continue to monitor, we'll adjust our plans as needed and as new information becomes available. And I would just say that flexibility and taking care of each other is just the best approach to the school year. So thank you. I know that you will do that hands down. I want to talk about the power of positive. I think now is a really great time for that. Last year, we focused on the power of you, and everyone has influence. And we saw that. We had evidence of this all year long, in particular, fourth quarter and over the summer. So this year, I'd like to transition a little bit and talk about the power of positive, and centering our work around positivity, I believe will benefit every member of our organization. They say that everybody chooses their weather and that your attitude impacts those around you. In fact, the most emotionally expressive person in the room can dictate the feeling of the room within 2 minutes, and you know who you are. And conversely, an overtly negative person can overcome a room very quickly, almost like secondhand smoke. I would encourage you to infuse positivity into your surroundings, and you'll find that the more you look for it, the more you'll actually see. I had the opportunity to read The Happiness Advantage over the summer. I recommend it. It's a great read. got some good self-help in there for anybody looking for that. And it just really inspired this message for you today. Find something to look forward to. Commit to conscious acts of kindness around your school and in your community. Happiness is not just a mood, it's a work ethic. In fact, positive emotions can actually be an antidote to stress and anxiety that we might be feeling. There are many ways that you can cultivate and share optimism. You can tell a joke, excuse me, give a compliment, lend a hand, share a memory, get to know someone, expressing gratitude, offering support, going out of your way, and simple words of encouragement can cultivate and share positivity and optimism. And in times of stress and anxiety, lean into your peers of support. Look all around you. You have amazing teams at your school, and be there for one another. When we have a strong sense of community, of colleagues around us, we recover more quickly from feeling overwhelmed. We can actually move forward to functioning at higher levels. You have tremendous influence. You know this. And I believe a message of hope and we got this attitude will go a long way with your kids and your families. Do what you can do to project calm. Many kids are feeling uncertainty overload. And you don't need to know all the steps right now. You just really need to know the next right thing to do for kids. And you are all talented and have years of expertise and will be able to do that. What if we shifted our thinking from challenge and crisis to a chance to innovate and adapt? What could we accomplish? Look how far we have come already and how much we have learned since even last spring. And when all else fails, focus on your circle of influence and your circle of control. You can do so many things, like getting to really know your kids and know them well enough so that you know when they're struggling and you can be a conduit for support and to get them connected to the help that they need. Focus on providing a sense of security and safety for your kids. Focus on helping them learn strategies to self-regulate in times of stress. You all can be a vital and have been a vital and consistent calming force for your kids. And we've got to get beyond just managing this year. Sometimes I know it feels like we're just managing, we're just getting by, but we have important instructional work to do as well. And kids can't afford to lose an entire year. They have already lost so much. We're still accountable to them. We're accountable to families, community, and our taxpayers. And we still have important organizational goals to achieve. As you know, I offer up the framework of P.A.C.E, focusing our work around people, achievement, community, and environment. For people, we want to retain our amazing staff, increase our staff diversity, put forth a multi-year equity plan, and make sure that no matter what, our staff feels valued and they feel respected. Very, very important to me. For achievement, we want to focus on increasing proficiency, representation of our kids in accelerated programs, and have a multi-year plan for career pathways. For community, now's the time to renew our district mission and vision statements. We want to improve stakeholder communication, strengthen parent partnerships, and support. For environment, we want to pay attention to social emotional learning supports. We are putting forth a new Aspire plan for our students that would benefit from alternative learning. And we do have facilities that we need to continue to plan for and address. With that, there are 3 points that I really would like to highlight: pedagogy, equity, and communication. For pedagogy, quite frankly, we no longer have any excuses. We must get better at remote learning. I'd like to offer up a number of golden nuggets from ISBE's fall guidance that they sent out. More face-to-face check-ins and live teaching. I can tell you I learned from parents that kids had vastly different experiences last year. Some kids saw their teacher all the time on the computer, and some kids never saw their teachers. Maximal use of the human resource. It is time for all hands on deck. Resist going back to basics. Utilize formative assessment so that you can truly differentiate to the different needs in your classroom. And think about the rigor level of what you're asking kids to do. Consider depth of knowledge, because we know that is directly connected to a student's ability to not only retain information, but to be able to use it in a different setting. They might not need grades to learn, but they do need meaningful feedback. And we know this is so important to parents. And don't forget about enrichment. Parents spoke a lot about seeking out enrichment opportunities for their kids as well. And lastly, I would say, whatever your lesson planning approach to Group A kids, Group B kids, and full remote kids, you must be able to quickly transition. So I would offer up the advice to not make it too difficult on yourself and streamline those different groups as much as possible. I would also encourage teaching teams and having multiple adults on your classroom digital platforms. Do you have a vision for equity? Vision is what you see when your eyes are closed. Sight is what you see when your eyes are open. We've got a number of particular components that we want to move the needle on. The achievement gap, representation of our kids in advanced pathways. We've got discrepant discipline data. We have a need to increase our staff diversity and to pay attention to alternative learning pathways. The multi-year equity plan that we put forth will not just address race, but also class. We've got 55% of our students qualifying for free and reduced lunch as of the end of last year. And I do believe we're going to see that number increase significantly. It's not enough to just say we care about all kids. How are you actively advocating every single day with a lens of equity and social justice? How are you honoring their diverse cultures and languages? Do they see themselves in your teaching and the stories that you tell and the examples that you give? Do they see themselves on your walls of your classroom? What will you do to find their genius? Because we know every kid can be a leader and every kid has genius. In the book that I mentioned before, The Happiness Advantage, there was a study mentioned that I would like to just pass along to you. Robert Rosenthal was the lead researcher. It was in the 20th century. And his team of specialists administered intelligence tests to elementary students. And the researchers told teachers which students were academic rock stars and had the greatest potential for growth based on that assessment. And the teachers were monitored throughout the year to prove that they didn't share the results of the test with the kids. So the students didn't know how they scored. And all the kids were tested again at the end of the year. As it turns out, the students that were identified as rock stars and strong potential for growth were actually ordinary, and they just scored average at best. But somehow they turned into rock stars. The belief that the teachers had in the students' potential had been subconsciously transmitted to the kids. And these nonverbal cues were digested by the students, which actually transformed that into reality. And those students grew exponentially and became rock stars. So I would offer up the question for you to think about: what will you believe? What will you transmit to all of your students? And what will they receive in terms of your message? Transitioning to effective communication as we launch into the new year. This is the time to over communicate with parents. I would love for them to complain that we are communicating too much, we're telling them too much information. I just think that we cannot go wrong. Increase the frequency, increase the different platforms, and try to make your message accessible at a later time. We've got parents working different shifts. We've got kids with multiple different caregivers throughout the day, and parents want updates on their progress. This is a message that I heard loud and clear from them. They want messages and updates on progress and help with motivating their students. And you can do that through engaging lessons, connecting with them face to face, and not forgetting about them, and reaching out if they're not responding. Remember the power of positive calls. Make them early on. Find the good and engage them as partners right away. This is now important more than ever. And positive power works for everybody. And speaking of positive, it's time to honor and recognize some amazing employees for their years of service. Congratulations to our staff finishing 10 years of service. Doug Bodine, Katie Brooks, Jill Carr, Amy Succi, Aaron Collison, Judy DeWild, Laura Dickey, Crystal Gascoigne, Elmer Hallgren, Karen Heaton, Alma Henderson, Elizabeth Hull, Randy Jasper, Laura Martell, Emily McKinney, Allison Olson, Katie Taylor, and Amanda Walters. And I am sorry if I messed up anybody's last name. Rita Aguilar, Holly Anderson, Julie Boyd. These are 15 years. Dan Brown, Katrina Brown, Geraldine Clark, Karen Davis, Barbara Dinkle, Dana Dwyer, Darren Dykstra, Julia Finch, Les Flores, Rachel Fowler, Lynn Garrison, Leslie Gould, Luann Gritton, Vanessa Isles, Nikki Kimball, Megan Kipp, Donna Lawrence, Cynthia Mayhew, Jeannie McGuire, Tawny Myers, Shelley Palmer, Stephanie Peters, Catherine Pielek, Kim Paremski, Philip Ray, Linda Rader, Jennifer Snodgrass, John Sullivan, Stephen Sumberg, Abigail Thrasher, Beth Weiss, Lynn Welvart, and James Zakharowitz. For 20 years of service, congratulations, Rebecca Atherton, Diane Baker Wood, Kelly Beam, Jill Bogart, Joel Bonsack, Scott Calhoun, Allison Glessner, Colette Gurdett, Pamela Jackson, Albert Johnson, Sarah Lesline, Luann Lindauer, Joanne Newberg, Mavis Peterson, Chad Potter, Wanda Price, Gloria Rea, Jeffrey Schimmel, Sarah Semmelroth, Tawan Taylor, Cynthia Tim, Jason Vito, Diane Woods, and Christina Zobris. Congratulations, 25 years of service. Christine Ballard, Dan Byrne, William Carlo, Jose Castro, Krista Decker, Sharon Ford, Kimber Frieden, Lori Grafton, Jerry Hill, Phyllis Huber, Diane McLaughlin, Amy Oakey, Elizabeth O'Hearn, Betsy Osborne, James Sheese, Miranda Wells, and Tasha Weimers. 30 years of service. Congratulations to Timothy Albrecht, Stephen Ford, Dawn Johnson, Michelle McKee, Lisa Milopoulos, John Knabb, and Penny Stenger. And 35 years, a huge shout out to Mark Hoyt and Deborah Sturgis. Congratulations. And lastly, my last slide, thank you for sticking with me. I wanted to recognize just a few more folks and give one more special shout out. I want to call this the H.O.P.E Award, or Hero of Public Education. During the school year, as you know, every staff member has a chance to nominate a colleague for the Why Moline is a Great Place to Work. And we've had the chance to recognize so many awesome employees last year. And we just want to thank you and quite frankly, thank everybody for all that you have done over the last number of months. But with that, I would like the opportunity to give a shout out to our heroes of public education for the summer of 2020. And honestly, these are just the names that I have heard the most over the entire summer. Hey, Miss Savage, this person is a rock star. Rachel, this person is a rock star. Dr. Savage, this person is a rock star. And so I just have to recognize these people. The first rock star that I would like to recognize, our first hero of public education, is Tom Franks, custodian at Wilson Middle School. Tom, I hope you're out there somewhere. I heard your name so many times this summer for what a great job you're doing, taking pride in your work, you know, making sure that everybody has what they need, going above and beyond. Thank you so much for everything that you do. We appreciate you, Tom. The second hero of public education, the second rock star that I heard about all summer long is none other than Shannon Harding. I know you're out there, Shannon. Thank you for everything that you are doing. You truly have been an instructional coach on the technology side for our teachers, and have just, because of you, our teachers really have learned so much and have been able to propel their skills. And lastly, I would like to give a final shout out. Our final hero of public education for 2020 is our own Stephanie Jordan. Stephanie is retiring, but she took on the entire summer meal distribution program on her own. She took care of all of it so that the rest of us folks working over the summer could solely dedicate all of our time on return to learn planning. And for that, we thank you. And we thank all of our heroes of public education. If you look around right now, they are all around you, and don't forget to count yourself. With that, I will turn it over to your building principals. Congratulations on starting a new school year. It will be an interesting ride, but I'm glad that we can be here together. Thank you and have a great week.